Are you curious to know what happens during the attorney review process? I'm Betti Russo. Today I'm here with Matt Petriello of Petriello Law in Wayne, New Jersey. Today we're going to talk about the attorney review process. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for the information. So happy to do it with you.
What is the purpose of attorney review?
So attorney review is the process in New Jersey where a contract is fully executed by a buyer and seller, and then an attorney gets a chance to look at it so that the contract is narrowly tailored to the actual needs and desires of the clients. The form real estate contract is just that. It's a form. So it's meant for everyone, therefore meant for no one. So the attorney review process brings it down to the actual terms that the parties are actually agreeing to at the end of the day.
That question does come up often because it is a standard contract, in New Jersey. So if it's standard and everybody uses it, why go that extra step?
So what are the different circumstances in your situation? Do you have a non-applicant title holder? Are there oil tank considerations? Are there radon issues? Are there things that are outside the normal? Multi-dwelling, multi-unit, tenant issues. What is unique about you and your individual situation that we need to make sure that you have the proper protection and description of rights and duties to make sure that the contract and the process of closing goes as seamless as we can make it?
Right. And you're so right. In real estate, every single situation is unique. So that makes sense.
Like buying a chair sometimes, right? You could buy a chair, you buy the next chair. You would think after all of these closings together that they would wrap in and be similar. Every deal and every person and needs and desires are unique.
Okay, so tell me about the 3-day turnaround time. A lot of people seem to think that attorney review is supposed to be completed all the way to the end within those 3 days.
Sure.
But that's not really the case, is it?
So attorney review must begin within 3 days, right? It can then take as long as it takes. It generally takes 2 to 3 business days to complete. The contract not being fully clear to someone who hasn't read it before, and the similarities of the time frame of the 3-day deadline in the contract, plus it usually takes 2 or 3 days anyway. It's a question I get often. But to be clear, you have 3 business days from the execution and delivery of the contract to start attorney review. You do want to work with a realtor and an attorney that do this kind of work full time, so they do have a quick and prompt turnaround for those type of matters. But once you do that, as soon as you get into an attorney review, it takes as long as it takes, but it generally takes 2 to 3 days.
Your job does not end after attorney review is complete. What comes next? I know you're busy with the client right through to closing.
Sure, yes. So attorney review, while it can be intense time of conversation, buying a home is a methodical process overall. There's 2 quick periods, the very beginning and the very end, right? My job is basically from contract to closing. So they've met with the lender and they've gotten their pre-approval and they've done their numbers and they know how much home they could afford. They've talked with you and where, what locations, bedrooms, bathrooms, needs for schools, needs for crime rates, areas, land, whatever they would need for their house. They find the home, they fall in love, you do your job, and it gets to the contract phase, it gets executed. And then in general, my job is to get them from the contract to the keys. Right? So we're working on the contract and attorney review, dealing with the delivery and deposits, dealing with inspections, negotiations, home inspection, environmental considerations, structural considerations, anything ancillary, oil tanks, various things to deal with on inspections. I see them through the mortgage process in conjunction with the lender, of course, application, clearing conditions, the commitment itself, the clear to close at the end. And in the most general terms, we're moving on toward closing. We still do all of our own closings in-house.
Awesome.
So myself and my staff, we do we do the signings. There's no random title representative there who doesn't know the clients and the people. So it is something we're very proud of and becoming more of a unicorn doing it ourselves nowadays. But seeing them through the closing, and there's post-closing matters that we deal with, recording and things of that nature. So what my job is contract to keys, contract to closing, the successful execution of the transaction.
And so Matt, what else other than everything we just talked about do you feel sets you apart from the others? Why should I send all of my clients to you? Which you don't have to tell me why. I mean, I'm doing it anyway, but...
Well, again, how kind. What sets us apart? There's a few things. First of all, this is truly our primary practice area. We do not do real estate on the side. We're not litigators. You never get a phone call that Matt's at court for the next 3 days or he's in family mediation this afternoon and doing that kind of work. It's my favorite practice area and therefore the primary practice area of the firm. In addition, we do more of these files than almost anyone else in the state of New Jersey. So that experience, that expertise goes a long way in that, as like we were talking about, every file is unique. But it is rare, although not impossible, and it still happens here and there, it is rare that something's going to come up in that file that we haven't seen before, that we haven't dealt with before, that we haven't successfully navigated before. So that's kind of the beginning. That's kind of the middle and the end. I do think that doing our own closings truly does set us apart. It used to be industry standard, and now it is certainly not. And that personal touch, that control over the numbers, that control over the schedule, the relationship in the culmination of a person's new home or selling their home, the personal relationship and connection that you have when you do your own closings is a service that we offer that very few in the state still do.
And to be honest, I have to tell you, when I attend a closing and I'm sitting at the closing table and it's just, the clients and me and, the attorney, I feel like it's a lot more comfortable for everyone than having like all these additional people. I don't feel so comfortable when I walk into a closing and there's people there that I don't know. And
Sure.
I'm sure that, the client probably feels that way as well. So it's just definitely a more personal experience, I think.
I could only imagine, right? So that person is generally coming with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's like, hi, my name is John. Nice to meet you. They have no relationship with that person. And here's $150,000 of my money.
Right.
I always feel like you're walking into our office. We've worked working together for weeks upon weeks. We've had countless conversations about some of the most intimate details. We're privileged to know some of the most intimate details of people's financial lives. And they walk in and it's like, all right, we're doing this with Matt, who knows everything anyway. And
Right.
I always value that. And it's something I'm very reluctant to give up, and I'm not going to do. That personal service and personal touch, because at the end of the day, we're a service industry.
Right.
So that personal service and personal touch, I think, goes a long way.
I agree. You share some great information on social media. I love that you do videos. I love that, you have a presence on social media so that, you can teach. I'm into educating people, and clearly you are too. So where can people find you?
Sure, absolutely. So I feel very much the same way. So much of our job day to day is information disbursement. How can we share our expertise, knowledge, and past experiences to help this new client navigate what they're going through? So it's something I've been doing my best to do over the last little bit. Petriellolaw.com is the website. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, all at Petriello Law. You can find us. We always try to have information for realtors on there. And just as importantly, we have information direct to clients on there as well. So if you're someone who's a first-time home buyer and you're familiar and you're trying to get familiar with the process, there's information on there. If you're someone who's owned a home for 25 years and haven't done a transaction in a long time, information on there as well.
So I love working with Matt. Matt and I are an awesome tag team, if I do say so myself. Please, if you have any questions about buying or selling a home in New Jersey, reach out to us. Thanks for watching.